People are asking me whether or not I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. And I would like to just clarify that I am more bullish than ever on Bitcoin. If you want to be successful, then you adopt the Bitcoin standard. You buy Bitcoin, you hold Bitcoin, you support the Bitcoin protocol. You do not sell your Bitcoin.
So happy Monday, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at ZK Rollups, as ZK season is pretty much here. We've just had the first early signs of a ZK season, so more on that in this video. We're going to start off, however, with some BTC price action and a little bit of macro before we tuck in. If you're brand new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So Bitcoin, as we can see on the chart just in front of us, has had a nice sell-off here this morning. So we did spike up to around $24,000. We did actually breach 24K over Sunday, but we've seen a bit of a reversal here. So a lot of longs have been trapped and liquidated this morning. So over on CoinGlass, you can see over the last 4 hours on BTC, around $12 million of longs liquidated here. The vast majority of liquidations in the market were longs. So that move down did shake out roughly $56 million in total. Now, in terms of this week, it is a big week ahead as we have the FOMC on Wednesday. So we could expect a nice choppy period around this kind of 23.5 level, and then a resolution soon after. The kind of bias I have in the market, of course, is quite bullish right now, is to move up once again, due to the fact we do believe it will be a 0.25% interest rate hike, which is what the market expects. So if we do not get a surprise, a bit of a nasty 0.5, which would send us lower, I do think we will trend higher, as many people will be waiting on the sidelines for Wednesday's action. Quick bit on the stablecoin flows in the market. This is something very interesting to look at. So I've got the data here for the total stablecoin market cap from 2023. So covering the 30 days we've had thus far. And from the start of the month, we were looking at $137 billion in stable market cap. It comes down to around 136 here. 136.55 was the low. We start to tick up slowly to 137, a little bit of a dip down there. And then as you can see, it's up to 137.49, 0.32, and then 0.48, and then today 0.43. So it has been holding steady at around 137.5, that kind of region, which is good. There's a bit of a net inflow into the market overall. Nothing huge, nothing crazy, but this has been enough, at least a stabilization, to generate some bullishness in the market and some momentum. And then the blue line is the TVL, which has been trending up slowly here, showing us that more people are utilizing their stablecoin positions to lever up in this market. So no telltale signs of a slowdown right about now. Things are pretty much tranquil, but ticking up ever so slightly. Over on Forex Factory, it is Wednesday the 1st of February at 7 p.m. UK time that we get the FOMC statement, the funds rate being set, and then the press conference thereafter. Expectation 0.25%, and then probably a hawkish J Powell taking to the microphone afterwards. Whatever he says could influence the market either way as well. So all eyes on that. So could be a bit of a choppy week going into this, but a resolution just thereafter. So Polygon CEO Sandeep here, hashtag ZKEVM. This was January the 25th. I've listened to a few podcasts of his recently, or AMAs, whatever, on Twitter, where he's been talking about the ZKEVM from Polygon coming live very soon. They've been doing a load of tests recently, and it seems it's going to be coming sooner than people expect. At least that is what they're alluding to. Originally, they said the ZKEVM will be live in Q1 of 2023. Now, these ZK rollups are a suite of layer 2 scaling solutions that handles a load of computation and does process a load of transactions off chain. They then bundle them up and then submit them to the parent chain thereafter. There's a lot of debate around ZK rollup versus optimistic rollup. With the ZK rollup, you get near instant settlement on both layers, i.e. the L2 and the main chain. Whereas on the optimistic rollup, you have to wait 7 days for the transaction finality. Within that period, there could be a reversal of the transactions. So this would mean a lot more cheaper and efficient transactions on these L2 environments that get to implement this ZK technology. So Polygon is the front runner here and likely to be the first one to launch. They launched their ZK EVM testnet back in November, I believe it was. So they've been doing a lot of testing on there. You can see all the different wallets that have been interacting with it. You can see the number of transactions and also the amount of contracts that have been deployed on there. Uptick has been very good in terms of people utilizing this, and I think they are getting fairly confident they're ready to launch in the next few weeks potentially. This could open the door if you've got very very cheap transactions like sub 1 penny, an opportunity to launch new markets and become more inclusive for individuals with less of a bag to spend, i.e. if you had like an NFT market where the NFTs are trading at like $1 only, you can't really do that when the transaction fees are 3 or 4 cents because that's 3 or 4%. But if they become sub 1 penny, you know, this just opens up the economics to a much wider audience. So very interesting stuff. Now, what I would suggest doing is getting yourself a ZK Rollup list here like I've done on my CoinGecko and starting to map out some of the ones you like, doing a little bit of research around this, seeing the big hitters in this industry. The likes of Polygon is the market leader. It's kind of shown its hand early in terms of Sandeep talking about the ZKEVM coming out and the expectation it's going to be here very soon. We've then seen a big move from the number 2 Mina Protocol here as well, up 41%. So what we've started to see is a movement of funds from maybe Polygon into Mina catching a real bid here, and then this trickling down into the lower caps as we progress with this ZK season. Notable participants in this for me, IMX, Immutable X, Syscoin, the likes of Dusk Network, Mute, and then we've got some real low cap degen plays at the bottom there, which I'm not too interested in, but I do want to see those as a bit of a barometer for this ecosystem. If you remember, Polygon started buying up the tech stack of a load of ZK Rollup solutions. They pretty much bought out Hermes Network down here, and as market leader, they will set the kind of pace for the rest of the market. So if they do launch, you're going to see a load of money flow into ZK solutions. So that is the thesis. Let's have a little look at 3 of these coins. We're going to disregard Polygon for now as it's a pretty obvious bet and the safest in this industry to go for right now, likely to have first mover advantage as I mentioned, and I've seen a lot of people targeting around $1.30 for this over the coming weeks. We're starting with Mina Protocol, however. This one is the first mover in the slightly lower caps, still around $700 million in market cap overall. Interestingly enough, this one was heavily invested by both FTX and 3 Arrows Capital. Now, what we've seen in the market recently is that those kind of bags for 3AC and FTX have done very well due to the fact a load of those coins can't be sold. They're actually with liquidators in some form of process at this moment. And so these could be highly illiquid tokens as a result of this. Mina's on all the top exchanges, Kraken, Crypto.com, Binance, Coinbase even, and they've really started to see a big bid. So I think this one is very interesting. They call themselves a privacy layer for Web3 utilizing ZK Rollup technology. They put forward some very interesting use cases such as this one. Think about getting a loan by simply sharing a proof of your personal identification and credit score rather than the data itself. No risk of your personal information being hacked or sold. You're the only one owning your data and it never leaves your device. So a bit of DeFi and personal identification on the blockchain there. Very interesting solutions, but let's have a little look at the chart. For me, this one's already really started to rip up here, as you can see. So this is the kind of price action you want to see, strength in this coin. It's just hit its kind of resistance here at around 80 odd cents. It's rejected of around the top of 80 cents here. Maybe we'll take a breather, but there's no significant headwinds I don't see until around $1 here. This line, I've also marked off the yearly open of 2022, as that is a region a lot of coins have actually started to move towards, quite interestingly. And when we think of this as a narrative play, ZK Rollups were kind of just an idea back here when it first launched. This is what got people excited, but now we're actually getting into the phase where they're actually delivering products potentially in this quarter or next quarter, where you see a bottom has formed here and then we start to rally from this area. So very interesting to see. The next one is Dusk Network. This one, just from looking at the website alone, looks very corporate in structure, and it is. This is all about the privacy of financial applications. They've built their own blockchain here called Dusk. Now, this is very useful as institutions do not want to have their financial information published on blockchains where people can snoop around. So a privacy wall is required. And this is what ZK Tech actually allows for. These guys definitely moving towards the kind of corporate world with this. And they've just had their first incentivized testnet complete. They're going to move to incentivized testnet 2 in the coming weeks, I believe, before a mainnet deployment of this. So this one, again, is kind of ramping up here in the early part of 2023. This is definitely not going to launch before Polygon does, but this could well be one to watch for that kind of corporate and enterprise solutions coming to the market here. Interestingly as well, they have this called Citadel, a zero knowledge KYC solution. And Dusk says this, the framework can be used for all claim-based KYC requests and puts users in total control of what information they're sharing and with whom, while being completely compliant and private at the same time. So this kind of solves the solution of many private companies hold your personal data and it gets leaked. We see this all the damn time, but using a ZK technology, that private data simply does not have to be exposed, but can still be used to verify claims from individuals. So for example, my date of birth or personal information could be approved using this technology without exposing the actual data. Pretty much very similar chart to what we just saw for Mina. Back to the 2022 open around 65 cents. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the market here. From around April of 2022, it just sold off from around a 32-cent region all the way down to here around 13, 12, 11 cents, and then down to around 8 cents. Recently started to move back up, now around 15 cents, 16 cents. Bit of traffic along here, a bit of congestion. So this could well stop off here for the next day or so. But I do think this kind of inefficiency in the market between this kind of level is somewhere we will come and explore over the coming weeks. Dusk is on the likes of Binance and Bybit and is a slightly lower market cap at just $63 million, whereas we just saw Mina was around 700 mil. And the last one we're going to look at here is Mute at just 26 million. It has really started to move up though in the last couple of days. So this is a ZK Rollup DeFi platform. Invest, trade, earn yields, and participate in bonds all on one decentralized community-driven platform. They have their own DAO. This one has a really cool website, to be fair. I do like the UI on this. There's an AMM on here. You can see as follows. You can do some swaps on here. They will be very cheap when this goes live. Again, I believe this one is in testnet just around now. There will also be pools on here for LPs and doing some farming. There's going to be a bond process currently ongoing as well, and a full DAO. Currently, the DAO allows you to lock your Mute tokens for demute, and you can lock them between 7 days and up to 364 days for a booster on your actual amplifier rewards. So that would be like improving the ROI you get on your LPs. And this will also do a revenue share as well. So it's kind of like a gauge. You lock up for longer, you get more governance power, bigger amplifiers, better returns. Now with their bond processing, what I like about this is they're doing a protocol owned liquidity play here. This is the highlighted blue down the bottom. I'll try and make this a bit bigger. So if you go and buy an ETH to Mute LP token, they will give you a bond at 15% ROI. So example on screen here, if you get 15K's worth of ETH to Mute LP right now, deposit it into the bond. You have then sold this LP. The team then has control of that. That is protocol owned liquidity forever. And they will give you a 15% ROI for doing so. So you would actually get 17.25K of Mute tokens back. It will be locked for 7 days. At the end of that 7 days, you would then have 17.25K's worth of Mute tokens. So in an uptrending market, if you could wait 7 days, this potentially could be a decent play. And increasing protocol owned liquidity is a very smart way of ensuring the longevity of a project. This one is pretty much only on Uniswap at this moment in time. And this means as people trade in and out of the markets, the DAO is always generating revenue. Chart on this one looks as so. It's around 70 cents right about now. This, of course, is a level of concern. A bit of resistance here, but if it can flip this to a support in the coming days, it's looking pretty bullish for some of these breakdowns around here at around 80 odd cents. That's about a 30% move. Then a big inefficiency up to around $1 and say 18 there. That was when things sold off back from April of 2022. And as you can see, it went down in a straight line. So there's nothing saying that this can't go back up in a straight line. And then the yearly open of 2022 all the way up to around $1.50, $1.60. Probably a little bit too bullish at this moment, but somewhere around here could be a definitely good place for a trade. Of course, not financial advice, just some of the projects I'm starting to position in. So let me know down below, what do you think of the ZK Rollup narrative? Is this the next hot one to really pop off here in crypto? Has Polygon started to lead the charge here? And will these others follow in the coming weeks/months? Drop me a comment down below. Let me know your favorite solution. Or if you've got any ones I've missed off here that I should definitely take a look at, I would love to hear those to do my own research. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.